Yes, welcome back to Footy Friends. Today we have a great episode, and I just might say my morning is made. How are you, Mickey boy? Are you well?
Shit ass.
Yeah, okay. We'll move on from that. We don't. No sad faces in
No,
here.
hey,
You wipe it.
We put the head on the pillow. We wake up. We
Today's
move on
a
to
new
the next
day.
one.
Footy Friends family. That's what we're about.
One to
here.
go.
One to go.
Got the Hawks.
Hey, we have a really special guest today. One of my favourite people on this earth, Mr. Broden Kelly. How are you?
It's an honour to be here. I'm really well, thank you. I've never, when I've been on this show, I've never had the chance to meet Delidio. And so I'm a bit annoyed because I thought I'd get him this time.
No, he'll be back.
Is he nice?
He's in Bali.
No.
Bali?
Yeah.
He wouldn't want to be too much of a footy bogan.
So let me tell you one thing, and you can work out if Brett's nice. So he used to have a dog called Boris, and Boris.
No, Boris is still with us.
Oh, Boris is still with us. He's just not with Brett. So he was a
hang on.
family dog,
Right.
And then Brett has a thing with the number 3. So 3 girls, number 3 at
back.
Richmond.
3 girls.
Three little girls.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, just to clarify that. At the deli, when you get the tickets, he'll wait for the number 3 to come up.
Yeah.
What if it's 97?
He'll wait.
80,
He'll wait till it restarts.
When he flew to Bali, he requested that the plane leave from gate 3.
3A.
What
everything.
if the ticket is 4?
Nah, he won't take
Will
it.
he wait 100?
Yeah, he won't wait. He's a very
Or-
stubborn man.
He'll steal whoever's got the 3.
Yeah, he'll trade. He's
Yeah, well,
nifty.
that's what you do.
Yeah.
So anyhow, you'll meet him, and we can only have 3 on the show while he's here. But
Right.
he's a big fan of yours as well. Now, can I just say something? One thing that happened before we get in here, because it just made my morning, and something I'm good at doing is holding off to do the show before the show. Now, when you came in, you two to meet each other, Mick, you sort of say, "Good to see you." Mick said, "Good to see you." Broden said, "Nice to meet you."
Because
Broden,
Because
you
I-
met him before.
I'm not a footballer, right? I'm not a footballer.
You've met him before.
Because
And you've nice to meet you.
Well, let's
You've
go
already
back
met
a
him.
bit. Because I was out there. I was on the phone. You rang him because you told me 8. You told me 8, and you told him 8:30. So I don't know what alpha trying to bullshit you're running here. I run clubby, Producey. I'll give merch out. But you told me 8.
I did.
So, and then you ring him, and this is how it went. You said, yeah, right, we've got Broden on. Do you know Broden? Then there was silence. You went, no, you haven't met him, yeah. So I went, I'm not going to go in and say to Michael Barlow, who broke his leg, by the way.
3 times.
3 times.
Twice. Oh, not like Brett. 3.
Mature age recruit.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say, we've met him.
Yeah.
Despite the fact weeks ago I
Yeah.
was watching at Gold Coast North. I'm from the Medallion Club, by the way.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I was like, I know that guy. I've met him before. And it was 3/4 time, and you'd just given them clearly the rev up of their life,
Yeah.
and they went home to beat Gold Coast.
And he would have had the lanyard around the...
Yeah, it looked safe. It looked safe and secure as a lanyard. So that's the story of my
Okay.
morning.
Yeah, I
It's great to
apologise.
see you again, Broden.
No, lovely to see you.
Yeah,
Nice to meet
again.
you. I haven't had the pleasure.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Footy and Friends is brought to you by our friends at AAMI. Lucky you're with AAMI. There was a few bloody clangers on the weekend, and we'll talk about that all throughout the
That's
episode.
what Amy's saying is. That's a coincidence, yeah?
Funnily enough, that's why we're talking about it.
Oh, right, yeah, right.
Boys, how was the weekend anyway? Before we get into the footy, we like to catch up here, and it's not just about the footy; it's about ourselves and our friendship. So, what did you guys do?
Saw Aliens Romulus. And another thing before we recorded, I said I saw Aliens Romulus on the weekend. You said, what is that?
Yeah, well, that's not a Village or Hoyts type movie, is it?
Yeah, for sure it is.
Is it?
Totally, yeah.
Really?
It's so there's a movie called Alien
Yeah.
from the 80s.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then Ridley Scott made the second one, Aliens, which is better, arguably.
Yep.
And then they made a bunch, and this is the newest one. And I wasn't really familiar with any of the aliens, but it was really scary.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Were there many people there?
Sold out.
Wow.
And this my story. It was a Saturday night, and I'm an asshole because I got my phone out and checked the St Kilda Geelong score, and so halfway through the movie, I just
wouldn't
went,
like that.
"Oh!" Because St Kilda kicked away in the final quarter.
I don't feel like that audience would have liked you on your phone.
No, they were up, but St Kilda beat Geelong, so
That
I
was
had to.
remarkable. Because I was on the Gold
I
Coast.
tipped it on the stream.
Well, I tipped it this time last week.
I think I tipped it with you.
I reckon you did it.
We'll have to go back on the mic because I tipped it.
I tipped
No,
Geelong.
remember
Darcy's
you
done
and
that
Kate
too.
were giving me grief about, go Ross. Yeah. 'Cause-
Anyway, let's go.
I got on the plane because I was on the Gold Coast, our VFL, so I played Southport. And yeah, the Cats were getting cats were out and about. They were five to zip up.
Mm.
You know, when you take off, then you kind of check it when you land, and it's just like blows your mind. And the Saints had rallied and come back. But I wanted to tell you a Brett story.
Oh, yeah, Brettles, yeah.
Just, well, as I said, we had the VFL on Saturday on the Gold Coast. I had to go to the airport on a Friday afternoon at Melbourne Airport, busy.
Oh, yeah.
People going on little getaways. And there was just a little group, conglomerate, I must say, of lads. And you could tell they were lads. They had the ripped jeans, shorts, and...
They went from Tongala.
They had a couple of them had hats, and they had the flat peaker, and they just had the backpacks or the one bag carry-on, you could tell.
If you're dressed like that, they don't even check your ticket going to Gold Coast. They just
they were going to the Gold Coast.
He's going home.
They were landing in Coolangatta and heading south to Byron Bay for a Bucks party. Oh. And I walk past and they go, "Oh, where's Brett? Is he at gate 3?" And I was like, yeah, that's quite funny. So I went and chatted to them, and they go, "Oh, we're going on a Bucks party." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." They go, "There's 3 of us." And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not lost on me. I can see it. I'm like, so where's the Bucks? And they're like, Byron Bay. And they're like little children. The Bucks party's going for 4 days, but we're only going for 3.
It's a really bad joke with our show about the 3. It's just
about the 3.
The number 3.
Yeah,
things in 3. So he loves 3.
The Holy Trinity. Is it a religious podcast?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting culty. I hope they had a good time though.
They would right now, I think, just be a little bit wounded.
Let us know how you go, boys, if you're listening in. Hey, your Demons went well on the weekend. Let's get into the games. But before we do, if you are watching us, because we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
As well.
How do you get on that?
It's a website through the web. It's just like...
You're familiar with it?
Who do you have to meet? Like,
no, it's actually quite accessible. You just got to create an account and make it.
Jeez.
And you can watch us now, all our episodes on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Give us a like. You can tap the like button. And
Theo
watch them
Von,
on.
who are you? This is incredible.
We're like Rogan, Von, all those type of things, Mr. Beast. So jump on that. If you're listening on the podcast, rate, review, subscribe, send to your mum, send to your dad. Would love that to go on. And last but not least, we've been live streaming too. I know you do a lot of live streaming, Broden, with footy.
Yeah.
How have you been finding it? How are you enjoying it? Explain what it is for someone out there who maybe hasn't heard of it before.
Well, so if you want to live stream a footy game, people are enjoying that now because they might not enjoy the coverage, so they might want to watch along with friends or something like that. As someone who live streams, it's like kind of taking the energy of being at home and taking and relaxing and having a moment and just kind of ruining that by putting yourself in front of a couple of hundred people and really taking that sense of privacy and self away from yourself and sort of monetizing that. That's what it feels like to me. So like you might sit at home with a pizza, but why not do that in front of people while you have to entertain them?
The whole time.
Yeah, and I wish I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about live streaming at the moment. But no, it's becoming bigger and bigger.
It's so good. And the audience that watches it, mate, on the weekend, we had the funniest crew there. We do it at the studios. We do every Friday night game for the rest of the year. So if you want to check it out, make sure you do.
I've been watching. It's been good. You have a whole setup?
We have the whole setup out there.
Yep.
But on the weekend, I can tell some rambling stories. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that.
You hang around with Nick Butler a little bit too much.
And I started talking about ball movement. And as I was talking about it, I was sort of 2 minutes in going, no one cares about this. And the boys are then starting to do the pretend to sleep thing. But I couldn't stop. When you just don't know how to keep stopping. So I ended up going this 5-minute thing about ball movement.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about? 45s or switches or double switches?
Let me...
The tsunami, the orange tsunami.
No, it wasn't. I was talking about if I was a coach, how I would talk about ball movement.
Oh, dear.
Simple, isn't it?
Well, it was on
Tell me. I'm a coach.
I don't know if you set me back up into this.
Theorise me.
Theorise you. Okay. So when I was at Carlton, there was 3. I really enjoyed this way. For someone who liked simple messaging, this was a good way to do it. So there's 3 ways to move the ball on a slow play. Okay. So when we've got the ball, there's a slow play on the mark. There's long down the line.
Yes.
There's a switch.
Yeah.
Or there's short 45 kicks and chip up the ground. And the
is that right?
Yeah.
It's simplified.
Layman's terms. Yeah.
Layman's terms.
You can go a long 45.
You can go a long 45.
One, really.
You can.
Yeah.
But what the message
the 46.
You could go at 46. What the message for this was...
Hit him on the 46!
This is basically what happened the other day too. I was halfway through telling this shit story and then it just went nowhere. So we're going to move on.
Got Broden on the 30.
Let's get into it.
Are there genuinely 3 things you can do with the football? Is that actually true?
No, on a slow play. So
Yeah,
when
so
you've got
I understand. So you kick it out of the 50, you've got it out of your back 50, you're sitting at that sort of
sitting there.
half quarter flank back thing.
Yep.
And then you either kick it to Gorney or you go short to someone.
Yeah. Christian Salem.
Or
will
you
be popping
swing
in
it.
there.
You swing it.
And the idea of
Jake
this
Cleaver
Broden
will be
is
on the switch doing his thing.
because when the other team's defending, you can only really defend 2 of those 3. You can defend.
Can't defend them all, can you?
You can't defend them all.
I could.
You can't. So you can either defend the switch and the 45, which then opens up long down the line, so you take that. You can defend long down the line or the 45, which then makes them switch.
And it still opens up the 46.
And it does. Or you could defend the switch and the long down the line, but then you're just ripping them through the 45.
Yeah, okay.
So that's basically, again, very highbrow. This is AFL
Mickey,
360 type stuff.
Can you, for
Mick,
North...
is that right?
I'll take that to Clarko.
Is that right?
Technically, you can defend them all.
Well, fucking you blokes can't. I'll tell you that much.
Nah, I've watched a bit of the tape. We didn't defend any of them.
That's the web, isn't it? If the web is a kind of a
The
vibe.
Weagles web.
The,
Is that back?
the West Coast web. Is that that's the... But can you call your Switch the Nintendo? Because people won't know what that is, right? But you know the Nintendo Switch was like, do you know what that is? You could go, Nintendo! And then the other team, And while they're thinking, you switch it.
Yeah. It's interesting what we've just listened to from Dylan, and I'm wondering if that makes the final edit of the show.
I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't.
And then down the line could be like PS5, and then that makes no sense, but then they'll be confused. And then kick it short could be like PC games. This is...
I'm going to get into the round review.
The producers in the room like it. They're like, yes, this is good.
Hey, Matt, good to see you.
Round 23 review. We streamed this one. Essendon defeated by the Sydney Swans. This was up there with one of the worst games of the year. It was that boring. And we had to stream it. Talking about streaming when things are hard, this was a hard game to stream. Do you think, ladies and gentlemen, Dyson Heppell should have played?
Thank you for asking.
Hindsight.
Well, exactly right. I've seen already in a fair bit of media the discussion that they should have played him because the energy of having, an important player like Heppell have his goodbye game would have revved them up and they would have won. I think at the moment, unfortunately for Dyson, he's a net negative by a small margin. And it's complete hindsight to say that they would have been better. In fact, the exact opposite is true, that if they'd played him, the media would have flogged them.
It was a lose-lose.
Yeah, they had no chance. And if anything, for me, it says, for the first time in a while for Essendon, no, you're actually doing the right thing here.
Yeah.
You actually do just want to win, and you're moving the right direction. Yeah.
You've swayed me on it. Because I was like, really like...
You would have been
I
stronger.
I was strong thinking, you know what?
Why wouldn't they just play him?
Because I actually met Dyson Heppell for the first time properly a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
He is a beautiful person. But
Yeah.
I've learned, unfortunately, in football, just because you're a good bloke doesn't mean...
You learned it really hard, yeah.
Like
the nicest
because I'll
bloke
tell you
there
what,
is.
there's some guys out there who debunk that rule, but I actually think you're right. I think you're right.
I think it was a good week for Essendon, actually, on a few fronts, in that their list management has changed properly for the first time in a really long time.
Yep.
And then a really hard decision was made. I feel like you end the season feeling quite positive, despite the fact you were pumped
Well,
mercilessly.
and also, Sheedy
Essendon
stepped
edge.
down off the board too.
Yeah,
which I think...
What's that about?
Well, I think they're just realising, Kevin Shee's been an absolute wizard for that football club, and so is Dodoro, but I think they're just going, look, we need to start fresh.
I talked on my pod this week about teams that feel like they have a good fundamental core. Like, doesn't matter how many they're winning or losing, they're moving the right direction.
Yeah.
And I felt like the D's in about 16, 17, we'd lose games, win games, but we were moving the right direction. North, I think, genuinely have a good core because of blokes like this.
I like North.
And then Hawthorn clearly do. But I feel like Essendon maybe are starting to form a core that they're finally moving in the right direction.
It's good to hear.
So they didn't play Dyson Heppell, but he did summarise that very well.
You did.
Thank you.
They
That's why I
play
got it on the
him,
show.
and the result, I don't think, with all due respect, Dyson Heppell, he's going to make up 40 points on the Sydney Swans. If they were to pick him, maybe he was the sub. Archie Roberts played his third game and had 25 possessions.
Yeah, he looked like a really young boy, didn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, and he can go a bit. He can play a little bit.
He's got a bit of go in him.
He's got a bit of go.
He's got a bit of go in him,
little bit of
doesn't
go
he?
in him. And 3 games in, he gets 25 possessions. Would he have been the player that they may have made in the past? An easier decision. Oh, Archie, you're a youngish player. Let's get Dyson in. So one of the few bright lights for the Bombers on the night was him.
I feel like Dyson Heppell, when he was drafted, I saw him and I went, that's an Essendon player. And I think that's only because he had blonde hair and James Hird had blonde hair. But he really does feel like an Essendon guy.
Yeah.
And he went to the right
Have we heard
club.
if he will like potentially go on somewhere else, or is he keen to finish up?
I think it'll be.
He'll finish up.
Suns were into him last year, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I
a
reckon
few
he's
years
on a
ago.
1 year or 2 year for the Bombers, but could have got 3 or 4 somewhere else.
Yeah.
Back to Leon Gather for him.
Yes. Well, Gippsland boy. I don't know whereabouts he's from in Gippsland. Is it
Isn't he?
Lancaster?
Yeah, well, isn't he like he was down there with Roughhead? They were the two from down that sort of out the back there.
Yeah, he's
Is he from Inverloch?
He,
Inverloch,
no,
right?
he's from. I know he's from Gippsland, but as I know, being a Tura former player, it's a big region, the Gippsland region.
Oh, yeah, and great yogurt.
Great yoga and great wind farms there. They're
wind
great
farms
wind
and yogurt.
Nick Martin is a seriously good player. 32 and 3. Like if you've got as Brett would know, if you've got a 3 in front of your goals and your disposals, that's a pretty good day.
You really do talk about 3 a lot.
Yeah, that's
No,
annoying.
he's an absolute gun.
Yeah. Who would you take? Is there anyone you'd take from Essendon to Melbourne?
Do you know, as a desperate Melbourne fan, I was kind of half looking.
Would you take Weedman back?
Weed? I'd love the Weed. Weed's a good
I'll
bloke.
take him back.
Well, he's playing as a defender now. I actually wouldn't mind him.
Yeah.
We'll take him back.
Okay, done.
I
Signed. You've got him back.
Jeez, that was easy. I didn't realise you wielded this power. I was half thinking we wouldn't mind Stringer at the D's. Just to see, because we don't kick
Does he
goals.
fit in with your, like, do you reckon the fans would get around him?
I think in the way that if you're ill with one disease, if you get 10 other diseases, it makes you a god.
Yeah.
It would make our culture so culture-y that we're super culture.
Yeah. That's
and
true.
then we become unstoppable in some backwards way.
That's true.
Who would you take at the Blues?
From
Yeah,
The Bombers.
This is not the chat Essendon fans want. Who would you take away?
Look, I'd be worried to take many of them at the moment. I think they need to do their thing. But I'm very lucky to be played a couple of Neefle games with Jai Caldwell.
Yeah.
He's as hard as a cat's head.
And also, well, your club, and I'm sure you can't talk about this, but Clarkson was on the record last week on the SEN Sports Network, AFL Nation, and talked about how he's like, yeah, we're going after Viney, yeah, we're going after this guy, yeah, we're going after that guy, Rampy, Parker.
Did he mention the names?
Yes, he did.
Did he mention them?
Did he say Ward?
I think he might have said. He said a fair few names. I know he said Viney. That's the one I really.
Yeah.
But he's like, we're not. He's like, it's a very low chance we're getting any of these, but that's the kind of experience we need. Oh, I was shocked.
It's cool.
I think I read I didn't hear that, but then I did read something that he may have just backed over it a little bit on his next media appearance, Clarko.
Yeah.
I love that when coach, even, I'm sure we'll get to this shortly with Melbourne at the moment, but when the stuff came out, Petrarca last week, a disgruntled in the media, and then McRae adds, fire to it, saying, we'd love him at Collingwood. You're like, oh God, I love that. Like that is, I just love it.
Yeah, that really upset me.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off. I was really fine that day when it was announced. I was like, oh yeah, all good. He's on for 5 more years. Da da da. And then I saw one comment from one Collingwood fan just going, "He's coming," and I went, oh, now I'm really upset. Now I'm really really mad at this whole thing.
All right, moving on. Hey, Sydney, do you reckon they've hit enough form yet into heading into finals? Or are they still just going a bit?
Well, no, they've just done what's required, really. Won't they? They will finish on top.
Yeah.
So a double chance home final. They've steadied themselves. So their last 2 months, they had a poor month, and then they've been okay for the last month. They'll be able to rejuvenate and go. They've got all their key pillars kind of back. Tom Papley will float back in, so I think they're in a good space.
Yep, I agree. I think they're still just not playing their best footy at the moment, and you do want to get that going.
I do. Well, their key forwards who are what have they got at the moment? Amadi,
he did.
McDonald. Like they're just so very hard position to play.
It is very
and a lot is required of them. And it'll be a big September for them because they're young and can they just bounce and get it done? I think that's their watch, their key forwards.
Do you think last year with Franklin being the kind of key focus for a lot of games and being out half the games kind of changed up the way they go inside 50 and that and fundamentally changed this year? Like now the corridor is how they score all their goals. And like Amadi doesn't have to be they're not built to be a big full forward team anymore, and maybe that's what I don't know.
I think it's just human nature for these boys. The last few years, is they look up and they see Franklin.
Yeah.
If you've got the ball, Dyl, rip it through the centre square.
Oh,
Are you
yes.
picturing it?
Oh, very
Hair flowing.
very foreign feeling, but yes.
Face flapping. Mm-hmm. And you're
Oh
saying,
fuck! I just sprayed it.
you see, Buddy Franklin just draws the ball, and I think earlier this year that they did say that they're far less one-dimensional in terms of their different looks, and they're drawn to different personnel in the forward 50. Clearly,
Yeah, I just want the Swans big boys. Who we got? Logan, Hayden, and Joel.
we're going first names.
I go first name. That's their names their mothers gave them.
Yeah,
right?
that's fair. That's
fair to use
respectful.
them.
Actually, respectful to do that.
Fair to use that then.
Yeah,
I would have thought.
Or Mr. Amati.
Yeah, true.
Mr.
I just want to
McDonald.
get him in a room with Horse
Well,
and just say, boys, why do you think they call me Horse? And then they all go, oh, look, you know, we
need to call HR.
I think we know, John. And then he goes, besides the point, I need you guys to fucking fire up. And they go, look, we're not doing our best. He goes, I know you are, but I just need you to just give an extra 10%. And I think if they do that, they go a long
so
way.
this is. I think you're lost in the podcasting game. You've given us the 3 types of ball movement today,
Yeah.
and a motivational talk for John Longmire.
What's wrong with the motivation? No, it's not motivation. He was saying, do you know why I have my nickname? And then he's just saying, I want these boys in the room, and I'm saying, I need you boys to fire up.
Yeah.
If I was a player, I'd be more confused. I'd walk out. I'd walk out and be like, "Why did he do that horse thing? Like, why did he say that? Why didn't he just give us the straight communication?"
And I know, knowing the modern
trying to
generation
skim.
of player, they would walk out. If you give them 2 messages, they're
Yeah.
walking out with the horse thing.
Okay.
He just cornered us in a room, and then he's about his name.
And then he said something else, but I can't remember that.
yeah, I'm going to play worse this weekend. I don't feel good. I feel sick.
All I'm going to think about is the coach and his nickname.
Why'd he do that?
All right, we'll see what happens with that
and
one.
why was Dylan Buckley in there?
Yeah.
Why was Dylan calling us all by the first name?
Yeah.
What was the other point he had?
Moving on. Suns defeated by the Melbourne Demons, 117 to 163. Good win. D's were on. Congratulations.
Good win.
Yeah, it was a good win.
Simon, we call him.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Did you not know you did that?
It was a real Simon for the
Why do you
Demons.
hey, boys, sit down. Why do you think they call me Goodwin? Because it's my name, all right? Win this week. No, it was a good game. It felt some. Do you swear on this? I think I've already sworn.
We have, yes.
There was a bad week of culture, and from what I'm seeing coming through on my phone at the moment, it might continue to be.
Oh no, what's happening? You in a big footy sort of thing,
No,
are you?
I'm just getting some information from what's happening on a rival network right now.
What's happening?
I reckon Tom Morris is going with some more Petrarca stuff.
Oh goodness.
But
Did you hear him bristle?
Are you okay?
no, it concerns me.
If you, like Dylan took John into a room, John Longmire,
Yeah.
otherwise
Take
known as
Petrarca
Horse,
in,
but we would
Broden.
call him John. Would you take Tom Morris into a room?
Yeah, I go, Tom, why do you think they call me Broden? I need from you to stop tweeting about Petrarca, please.
Do you reckon that if he stopped, then Colin would just be like, "Oh, okay, the deal's off"?
Yeah,
Don't worry about it."
I think they would. Well, I could only, one can hope.
So it's more Tom Morris's issue, not the other club's list manager or anything
exactly
like that.
right.
Yeah.
Well, just and it was I really enjoyed this game because it felt like it was Jack Viney.
Last time you see him.
Yeah, unfortunately. And a bunch of young guys, and they just felt like all of this stuff during the week has nothing to do with us, and we're really good, and we're going to go beat a team who've lost once at home this year. And it was, we really needed that.
It was a
game.
good win.
Hey, what do you mean by that?
Simon.
Oh, right, it was a Simon. It was a Simon. Did you watch this game?
No, I didn't. But I did see I watched the
It was off
The
Broadway.
mini?
I watched the mini.
Yeah.
The KO mini.
The KO
Yeah.
mini.
Yeah, it was the KO
Was
mini.
it the bite or the mini? Because that's
The
25.
bite, the bite.
Yeah, so that's 5 minutes.
Yeah, the mini's too long.
Mini's
Yeah,
too long.
mini's 30.
Yeah, mini's too long. I needed 15 for that.
The McWalter, they call it.
I was saying this last week. I actually thought I made. That was funny. I actually thought I made a really good point about Melbourne. Just want to run it by you to see what you think. Darcy, you liked my point last week, didn't you?
It was all right.
Thanks. So Melbourne's struggling a little bit this year.
Holy.
Brayshaw's gone. What have we got here?
Oh, I'm just looking at it. I didn't see a lick of the game, and
Okay.
they've got some players coming through the Ds.
Yeah, they do.
Disco
Oh,
Turner kicks
yeah,
4,
oh,
Falstrip,
yeah.
good player. Sorry to jump in.
No, it's fine.
McVee, Howes, good little.
Oh no,
cohort of players.
the under 23 and more so the under 25 cohort at the D's is genuinely exciting.
Yeah.
I think the model for the D's, when they'll never say it, is the Geelong model, where they just want to
Keep topping up.
constantly be regenerating and constantly getting high picks in, because we're going to end up with a 6 or a 7 again, and then probably a 20s one, and they'll just keep trying to do this, and they've just signed Gawn for another 3 years, so they'll try and transition, over the next 3 years. But I think that's as a Melbourne fan, that's what I want. I just want to be a club that's constantly in discussions for the 8. So this year sucks, but apart from that,
you bounce.
You bounce.
Sorry, Dylan. What were you saying? That was poor by me.
That was so much better than what I was going to say anyway.
Were you going to go with the ball movement thing again?
No, I was going to leave that for. I was going to do a little KO mini on that by myself.
Yeah.
Did Sparrow get injured?
He did.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I spoke about him last week, saying I really like Sparrow. I thought he was going to come on a little bit more this year. I don't know.
So did I. Yeah.
I don't know, injuries and whatnot, but he looked like he was towards the end of last year, even the start of the season, he was killing it. So I'm ready for a big one for him next year. And also, as you said before, with young
Disco Turner?
No, not Disco Turner.
Howes?
There's a few
Bolster.
out as well. Caleb Windsor and Andy Moniz Wakefield.
Caleb Windsor. That's why I'm
McVee.
looking because he didn't play. Caleb Windsor is going to be. Well, he already is a really good player.
Oh yeah.
But you'd be excited by
What's
that.
your take on the Suns? Remember at the start of the year they said you don't make the finals and it's a fail, or that was the benchmark
Yep.
of the board.
Correct. I think much like North, I think their core is set now. I think everything, you wouldn't be worried. You're not changing anything. And the 5 or so players that they drafted from their their
Academy
their
stuff.
academy.
Yeah.
They've reportedly got another 5 of the same ilk coming in this year.
Yeah,
so, we can and ah about whether they're good or not, but just pure numbers that eventually
They will be good.
they're going to be the Brisbane of the 2000s, and this, who's good, who's bad, is just going to be completely irrelevant because they're going to win 15 flags in a row. It's going to be unstoppable.
I was in Queensland a couple of weeks ago, and I was chatting with a girl who works for the AFL. And I don't know, again, if this stat is true or not, but I'm sure she wouldn't just lie to me about it. She said that AFL has actually taken over the NRL in terms of popularity and participation in Queensland now.
It has, yeah.
Crazy.
Like the kids playing at 100%.
Yeah.
If the AFL can take either one or two of them, either New South Wales or Queensland, if they can, in the next 10 to 20 years, be the dominant sport, it's over.
Yeah.
Because that not only means...
Oh, but they go to Vegas, though.
Yeah, they do go to Vegas.
That'd be good.
But we'll go to Vegas twice or something. But because then all of a sudden it's just pure dominance of sport in the country, and then all of a sudden brand partnerships and sponsorships just tip one way, and then everyone wants to sponsor AFL, and then everything it'll be seismic. That's why you want those teams to be good up there, because it's such a huge impact on the AFL. But then also put it in the Olympics, I reckon. Have you heard my idea for the Olympics?
Breakdancing?
No, not breakdancing. So did you play at school half-court footy?
No.
So if you have down the other end of the oval...
half-court basketball, but footy.
So the other end of the oval, other guys are playing footy, the year 9s, and you're...
The big kids.
Yeah. So you take half the oval, and you just have to run it to halfway...
And then bring it back.
And then bring it back. That means the AFL can be played on a smaller field for the Olympics. And you play it 9 players per 9 or something like that.
So it's like the 3v3 basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the way to get the AFL in. And we only send our under 21s, make it get good. I'm on board, guys. Come on.
Better than a few of the other ones that are...
Absolutely.
Jack Lukosius as well kicked 5 goals, 1, and had 24 disposals in the 2s against the Casey Demons.
It shouldn't be there.
Who do you think... What would you... 175 to 87.
Yeah,
What a... Geez, they played some
A bit
good
of
scoring
bruise-free stuff
opportunities
up there.
Hey, can you... this is for Mickey as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, Dyl, who kicked 6 goals for Casey on that game? And I think he could go back to a certain...
Ben!
Oh, you reckon you go...
Why not bring him back?
Bring him back, dust off the number 50.
Yeah.
It's still available.
6 goals in the seconds.
And
Tell me you
lost
don't need
by-
a little bit of support down there. He's a good bloke.
likes.
Yeah.
How old is Ben Brown now?
He'd be a year older than me, so he'd be 30... I reckon he'd be turning 32 this year.
Out of contract?
Yes.
I haven't caught up with him.
Yes.
Haven't had a chat
Haven't had a chat to
No,
him.
haven't
Haven't got him in the room.
I was too busy with Horse trying to work out his nickname and what we want to talk to about Logan. And
31, last year of contract at the D's. Keep an eye out.
he'd be 32,
I
so-
do-
but he hasn't
I-
had his birthday yet.
And also,
Right,
I
so
do
he'd be
think
32
he is,
this year. We haven't wished him a happy birthday.
from my understanding, his body's a bit Banged up.
We
He's
did
a bit
talk about
banged
the
up.
banged up.
That's right.
This. I know you guys don't like talking about the off season. I do. Lukosha. So what does he demand if you do trade him? What would you want to get back? Just some low draft picks? Would you just want to get like a?
If he was coming to the D's, I would offer a couple of seconds maybe because we need a forward. But he's going to the Crows or Port by all accounts.
From what I've heard too, he's not like steadfast on going back to Adelaide. He'd go
good.
anywhere. So
he is good. He's had a weird run at Gold Coast where they put him back for ages and then forward and moved him around. And Dimmer clearly just not a fan.
Yeah.
He's had some of those games where just talents shone through. I think in Darwin one game this year he kicked 4 in the first quarter or something.
I think he's one of those guys that he can play everywhere, so he doesn't own one position, and you nearly just need to like.
You're playing here for the whole year.
Yeah.
Train there, get yourself right.
He is a
and
goal
own
kicker.
the position.
A goal kicker.
Giants v Freo. This was a ripping game.
Did you like the Dockers outfit?
Yeah.
The white shorts, purple jumper?
Yeah.
Classic.
One of the great regrets of mine.
You didn't get to wear that?
I wore it a couple of times, but I think we should have worn it in the 2013 Grand Final.
Oh, God, it's it, yeah.
We just wore the whole white. And
Yeah.
usually when we play Hawthorn, we'd wear the purple jumper, white shorts. Really accentuates the rump.
Well, also, it's not a clash. Like, what with the... It's probably less of a clash against Hawthorn than white would be. But
I have found Freo fans to be the most upset when you don't talk about them. Like, when you played for them, what are they like as a fan base?
Oh, they're very loyal.
But they also have that
they're big on the VFL, aren't they? Like, they just call it the VFL.
They reckon
It's just a
they have a vendetta against David King, I think. Because Kingy doesn't rate them. Or
hasn't.
And like Kingy would never go on his show First Crack and be like, I told you so.
I told you so at the end of the day.
I love King.
Look.
But right now he always says, they can come at me, and he always finishes with, and that's fine.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
And that's okay.
And they'll come for me, and that's okay. Which is saying, it's hitting him a little bit, but he's very steadfast in his opinion. Dockers drop out of the 8 after that result.
There's some serious... This is the year you would want to have the, the round to sort of see what happens in finals to actually get it in. But
5 weeks ago, I think I said on my pod something like, if they stay firm here, they're going to be playing. They're going to finish second, and they're going to be playing 2 home finals.
I know. And then they lost to some... Who did they lose to that fucked it up? It was like a real easy loss. They had a bad loss.
Their form run is 3 losses in a row. I couldn't tell you who those teams were because I've lost interest in the AFL after 27 rounds in a consecutive row.
Brent Daniels is a star. 3 goals won, 29 disposals, 13 tackles.
When's he out of contract?
I don't... Can we try and look that up, Darcy? I'm not sure, but...
I heard somewhere last...
Teams are going to come for him.
Well, no.
They are going to come for him.
Dyl.
Sorry, mate. I only played with them. You go, mate.
They've already come for him. I heard somewhere, I can't remember where I was listening to, maybe on the radio on the way home from Footy the other day, but he was the most inquired about player last year about his contract status.
Wow.
Yeah,
in
right.
terms of... That was interesting, wasn't it?
That take that to Clarko. If you hadn't already.
So I don't know his contract status, but apparently people were coming.
Yeah.
How happy would you be if you're Kingsley, though, in a year where Toby Green's just dropped off a little bit or not having his perfect form year, and then the same exact player just comes in and does the same
But is it the
thing?
argument as well, like that, and I don't like this argument we had it the other week about Patrick Cripps being too dominant so the other guys can't get involved. Is it the same argument when you look at, Toby versus the other small forwards? Like, look at Darcy Jones and Brent Daniels this season. Look like they've played some unbelievable footy.
So good.
And, Toby's still playing some very good footy, but...
I mean, it's a good problem to have,
It's a
isn't
great problem to have.
But alongside him in that team is, I think, now the best player in the league. Jesse Hogan is the best player in the AFL right now.
Unbelievable.
I think he's 10 goals clear now at top for the Coleman.
He has sticky mitts.
And I just on a coaching thing, I've heard people say that the team is built around going to him. It runs through him in a way that Wayne Carey used to get the ball in the 90s. And there's not like people. I'm not just making this up. I would never dare. I've just heard this from all the people on the cracks
on the
and
blog.
the SCNs and the things. But he's the most contested marks recorded in a very long time. Apparently, inside 50. Da 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 da.
No, they look the goods. And I love Darcy Jones as well. They're forward.
the helmet.
Mick, give me some
They've
credit.
got enough-
I tipped him at the start of the year. Remember I spoke
well
about
done.
it. Thank
Good
you.
work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. But they've got a good mix of your key forwards that can clunk and draw the ball, but then the speed, Daniels, Jones, those speedy little forwards, very important.
Do you reckon we slept on Whitfield a bit this year? Like, is he not getting the credit he deserves? Another 27 this week.
And Tom Green in the middle there as well.
40, yeah. It's pretty good.
But then at the back, I think they really started to look really strong when Taylor came back from his ruptured testicle.
That would have hurt.
You can't say that without...
No, because you can feel it when you say it. When you say ruptured.
No, I don't.
But he's come back stronger. It was his...
I don't think the testicle has come back stronger.
No, but the
He
energy
has.
from
Oh,
the
the energy.
scrot
Yeah.
has risen. And now he has finals fever.
Yeah, so good to see Lockie Keefe come in. I'm telling you now, mate.
You
Like,
went-
you can't
cockroach.
kill this bloke. You cannot kill Lockie Keefe. He plays in the NEFL from round 0 to
9.
23, I reckon. In and
23.
out, and then he's like sort
No,
of
now we're good.
emergency,
I'll be
and then
fine.
all of a sudden a few guys get banged up.
Give me
he
the
comes
pill.
in and he'll win a flag this year. It is just so good to see. He's such a good bloke, and just plays a role.
I'm very blessed to have been asked by Channel 7 to do the finals hype videos.
Oh,
So they're all coming out. You know, like they said they couldn't do it. Like I
there's
did
a
all
lot of those stories this year.
Yeah. And I said, my favourite line for GWS that I did is like, they're this, they're that. And they've got the most jacked coach in the league.
Erect.
Like,
He's erect. We use the word erect.
erect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're jacked.
Well, that makes me think of his, like,
Erect doesn't have to
penis.
be to do with it. No, but you can be erect. Like
that's
erect.
what it makes me think of.
No, but
is that
fair.
what you're suggesting or no?
somewhat. We thought like we need more erect people in the AFL, but
Yeah,
we'll
fair
get through
enough.
that today. All right, moving on from that game. I think Giants can go all the way, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks.
Swans GWS Grand
Yeah.
Final at the MCG.
Just lastly, who are they playing next week? So Giants have
Doggies at
Doggies?
Marvel. Doggies,
No,
sorry, at Mars.
Mars.
at
Ballarat
On
Oval.
Mars. They better get going.
Yeah.
They better
What a game
pack
that's
their
going to be
bags.
down there at Ballarat.
Do you think that the Doggies had the best run in yesterday, respectfully, against playing against a team who's running for a flag? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. How? Respect.
Respectfully. obviously.
respectfully,
You didn't say-
they were witches' hats yesterday.
Yeah,
respectfully,
they weren't great.
I've
but-
done the tape and you're not far wrong.
We'll get to that game in a minute, but I watched this one actually the whole way through. This was a ripping game. The
Collingwood
Collingwood
North,
Brisbane game at the G. We were questioning whether the Lions could have got the 2 wins at the MCG. They look like they were going to.
Oh, they've
Really,
they've now
fucked
shot
it.
themselves in the
They've shot them,
foot
yeah,
with that double
shot
chance.
themselves
'cause,
in the paw.
that would. I know he's an idiot. I think
it would have felt like a punch in the absolute face. This game.
Yeah.
They were up by 40. They hate Collingwood. They're in the finals. They're out. We're going to go down there and send a message, and then they lose by a point.
It sucks.
I was going to say the second Nick Dacos' stats, right?
The goal though
14 disposals and 2 goals
in the second quarter.
in 1 quarter.
Yeah.
Turns the game by himself.
So was Berry sort of on him? Then he got injured. I think he had a tight hammy or something like that.
Right.
He was doing somewhat of a roll on him. But that
Okay.
goal he kicked with
Incredible.
the helmet ruckman and Lockie Neal chasing him, 2 bounces.
the helmet ruckman.
You talking about Cherry?
No, you're talking about Dara Joyce, who was wearing a helmet.
Didn't want to
Who's a
stop the
halfback.
didn't want to stop the flow to keep the story going.
Yeah.
That was up there with the goal of the year.
No, it revved them all up too. Did you see the footage of Fly on the bench?
Mate, he kicked it and finished like that.
Yeah.
He is too good.
Oh, insane. Who is the you line up Collingwood and you're drafting them off the wall. Who's the second player you take from Collingwood?
Drafting them off the wall.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
court, it's lunchtime basketball, lunchtime football. Because I have my clear one that I would take, which is McCreary as the second player from Collingwood. He's just such an energy player.
Do you know who turned the clock back in this game though? Still side bottom.
Oh yeah.
He played in the middle. I
Yep.
reckon he had like I don't know how many clearances he had.
He's had a good
Some were
he's had a good couple of
super
weeks.
important clearances, like so clean.
Yeah.
them got him out of it. Him and Dacos got him back into that game. But I know what you mean, Ree McCreary. He's so tough.
Do you
like,
think
quick?
They love his run so much. I feel like the Collingwood model is kind of built around him a little bit because of how when he gets the ball, you hear the Pie Army rise.
He's an exciting player, that's for sure. Very exciting player.
It kept them in the finals in the finals run for 24 hours.
Did. and then it came crashing down. But the top 4 is set, isn't it, now? Apart from the Cats, and if the West Coast Eagles can go on.
Is it actually?
Well,
pretty much.
If West Coast beat Geelong, this is probably more for a preview, but West Coast beat Geelong and Brisbane win. Well, if Geelong beat West Coast, it's set pretty much.
If certain games go a certain way next week, is it right that the Lions could be out of the finals?
Oh, they'd have to get absolutely
walloped.
You'd need Doggies to win, Hawks to win, Carlton to win, and then Fremantle
Dockers to beat. Yeah, and
they've got
a bit of a percentage swing.
And a big percentage swing. So and they've got, and Lions have got Essendon up.
But geez, that would make me look smart.
It would. They did. And they finished 9th.
Yeah, they finished 9th. That'd be hilarious.
Guess where we're heading next? Showdown, where the Port Adelaide fans are.
Now, what did you think? What did you guys think of Rochelle? I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that. But he didn't really back it up on the field, but still, I loved it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think it's no coincidence that the best wrestlers, WWE wrestlers in the world, are from Adelaide, in Rhea Ripley, Bronson Reed. It's a place of antagonists. It's a place of a bit of effing fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To quote Stewie Jew. It's awesome. It's the best rivalry now in the AFL, hands down.
100%.
That the energy of them walking off the ground last night. Rochelle just sort of rubbed his head a little bit. I feel a bit embarrassed, but it's awesome.
It's so good. I think I love people putting themselves out there. I think it's fantastic.
Do you reckon? And if he hasn't really listened.
Yeah.
Like, you know how he's done the thing on the radio during the week.
Yeah.
And you'd think, if that was back in the day when I was playing, you'd in the coaches and the GM's office the next day, like, what the fuck are you doing, mate?
Yeah.
Like, we don't do that. And then you're like, no worries, because clearly, if he's had that discussion, he's not going out there and doing
No,
the
I don't think he had the discussion, because after he put up another Instagram story of it and then did the celebration as well. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I love the theatre.
The Marmalade Boys as well did a whole thing down there. They got the lolly teeth down there, and they were doing a whole thing. And it's good for the Marmalade Boys, good for the economy of South Australia, good for the Barossa.
Great for the Barossa.
People over,
Go have a wine.
Good for Villy's Pies.
Yeah, go see the Sharks down at
Victor Harbour. Yeah, or the Whales.
There's sharks there, I think, too.
Oh, God, be careful in the water, guys. just be careful this summer, please.
Moving on, Saints v... So, can Port win it?
Yeah, certainly.
It's exciting.
There's 2 informed teams at GWS and Port now. I think, what's their run? 5 wins in a row.
What is the promo for Port been? Has there been something about them not being able to win finals and redemption and
Ken down Port Road?
I think I said something along the lines of
in the voice, please.
5 weeks ago, half the fan base was walking over the Torrens at 3/4 time or something like that. Because remember that I was at that
Ken.
game. Yeah,
like stuff.
I think I say he's just Ken or something like that.
Yeah.
And, like
from Barbie.
Yeah, from Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
They're informed now. Like that, I feel I watched them against the D's at the MCG last week, and I didn't walk away going they're the best team that ever existed.
It was a good game, that one.
Oh, it was awful. It was unwatchable. The Seagulls liked it, but I don't feel like they just keep winning, and that's all you need to really do, right? Because statistically, if you keep winning, one of them will be a grand final. And then if you win that, then you win.
That's motivation. I reckon send that to Ken. See what he says about that little pump up. Saints beat Geelong, which you did forecast this, Mick. I certainly did as well. I'm not sure if I said it on the podcast, but I did say it on the live stream. Just felt like they were in a better position at Marvel. Cats, I don't know. I think they just saw it as an easy beat. And, even though they started well, Ross surely fired the boys up and got it done. How did they beat them?
Well, great question. Because it didn't start very well, did it? At all for the Saints. But they got moving. They owned the ball, didn't they? And they made Geelong defend them. Because Geelong can be, in my humble opinion, like they've got a really experienced team, right? A good, mature team with some wise heads. But I think without the ball will be their vulnerability the longer it goes. Just in terms of what they're... No, they
can't defence or...
A little bit of defence, yeah.
So you're saying ball movement-wise they can't defend?
They can't defend all 3, in particular the 46.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Saints got on with the 46ers,
yeah,
to be honest.
No, okay.
Hitting the 46ers. But I thought the Saints did, and this is all jokes aside, like they planned pretty well around what the Cats were. Steele, went and did that role at Dangerfield at stoppage. What's going to beat you? Dangerfield at stoppage and clearance. His power out of there. So go and look after him in that role. Steele played really well. 27, 2 goals.
Wilson 22 goals, 3, 25.
So Darcy Wilson's in his first 5 games still.
First season for sure. First 15. Probably.
He looks like a St Kilda player.
Like Heppell in Essendon.
He looks like Jack Steele. Like he's black-haired guy. I couldn't pick his face in a lineup of 28 guys. I could not tell. But if you're a Saints fan, this is the perfect way to end a year when you're not playing finals. Yep. You just great run home. You're in form. You're beating top teams. And
Cheeto played pretty well too.
Yeah, he's starting to get his mojo back. Like Burns, who's only a first-year player. Yeah. He bounced on the scene early in the year. His early season form had him kind of rising star discussions with Harley Reid in that early patch of the year. He's faded out a little bit throughout the middle. But to have a game like that in your first year, 25 and have 5 scoring shots,
it's impressive.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Sinclair was great. So their best, as simple as this is, their best players got going. And the Cats probably just lacked a little bit of depth. When you do the stats and you run the fantasy numbers and you go right down to the bottom, the bottom 7 or 8 out of the bottom 10 are all Cats players.
What's interesting is with 9 minutes to go, the scores are tied in this game, 77 all or something like that. So how did the Saints run out a team that wants to play big finals games?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I think to that point, you need weight of numbers in those close games, and Cats clearly too reliant on their top enders across most of the game, and then they just can't carry the load for the whole 4 when the Saints continue to bring the weight of numbers.
I feel like this is it's a bit of a weak mindset, but I'm sort of talking about myself here. But there's something as well about a team that is going to play finals at the end of the year, playing a team that isn't going to play finals. And I think that team's going look, let's just get it done, but we don't want to get injured. And as soon as you get in that mindset of thinking, look, we know we're going to play finals, these guys want to come here and knock us off, I think you just get a bit more clunky. So it'll be interesting, in our preview to see those teams next week that are playing the teams that want to finish the year well versus the ones that want to go in fresh.
Who do the Cats have next week?
The Cats next week have West Coast.
Yeah,
so there you go. West Coast want to knock them off, and they want to go into finals. I'm not saying they will reserve because they're probably fucked up with it this week.
And in their favour, I think because there's so many interstate teams in the final 8, I think the AFL's contractually obligated to will have them play any home games they have at the MCG.
I've heard that. I'm not happy.
Which I think they'd be rapt about because their form at GMHBA is no good.
Do you want to have a skip this week? Or?
Well, Sunday games this week were
useless.
Boring, weren't they?
Wasn't much going on.
The Carlton game, that was so boring.
I pondered whether it was on purpose because if you look at the 3 teams that they chose to put there, West Coast, North, respectfully,
but disrespectfully, West Coast,
absolutely, yeah, dogs. They need to sort their shit out. But then Richmond,
get Jermaine Jones back in the side. What did he play?
It felt like 3 teams who were let's get our percentage going. And then 3 poor teams who are out at a long...
Well, let's skip to the last game.
Let's just... I want to talk about one thing.
Touch all of them.
I want to touch on one thing from the Western Bulldogs game.
Yeah.
That's
Western Boris's.
Western Boris's versus North. Darcy.
Yeah,
7-1.
You seriously can't reach his...
Yeah. He's going to be a scary player.
He's just that, toilet, puts his arms up.
Yeah.
Boys couldn't reach. You need the noodles. You need the noodle whackers to try.
Chom went out relatively early.
Chom had a bit of a chaotic 15 minutes.
Yeah. When did he go out?
20 minutes in the game.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't get the 7 kicked on him, but someone did.
No, he got him started.
Yeah.
And I say that respectfully, but we do love Chom.
We do love Chom.
On Footy Friends, but no, all thoughts with Chom. He very brave. Very, very brave.
Did you see the back with the flight?
Went back.
It was Nick
full-blown.
Yeah, crazy.
Looking over and...
well, that's what you build a club out of,
coming the other way, all eyes for the ball, and Chom got up, and unfortunately, he just had to come off a little bit later.
I feel so high on North, genuinely.
Yeah, me too.
I was saying this mid-year, when you watch the games, there was quarters where you went, hang on. And then obviously they couldn't sustain that.
Yeah.
And I said on my pod, Dwayne Russell co-hosted with me one day. He's like, I don't know about that. And
come on, Dwayne.
And then you've just turned. I think you're going to be so good. You're going to be so good.
I will jump in and say that yesterday was absolutely not good enough.
No, it wasn't.
And there's It's the way you've got to absorb these types of performances. We hear all that we're going to, there's a good bunch of players coming through and there's optimism and all that, but we should be past those types of performances. So that's the cold hard truth that the whole club in terms of coaching group and players have got to accept responsibility for this week and review it really strongly. And you've got one more chance really to go out and solidify some of those things that are getting said externally, because internally, we'll have to absorb some hard truths about that performance.
That's what you want to
yesterday.
hear from a coach.
Yeah. And when do you come back? Like November, October? Or?
November. You start November. I think it's mid-November. The union, the AFLPA, the union. They hardly.
Less work, more pay.
Less work, more pay. Don't contact me.
They should be back next week before the game.
I'll be pretty
Pre-season midweek this week.
Yeah. No, the Western Boris is very good. So, watching them live, this is why I've been always so high on the Dogs, the Borises. For what we weren't, North yesterday or on the weekend, being clean in the contest and strong and mature over the ball. The Dogs, if you give Treloar half a chance at a ground ball, he's going to be clean and flick it out and find one of his players in flow. If you give Bontempelli a free run, from end to end, he's going to be able to find where that next possession chain is. Jack McRae comes on and has 17 possessions. So he's not even in the best side, but he has 17 possessions, 2 goals in 30 minutes, which is a credit to what he is. B, some responsibility on the other side to try and stop that. But they've got a very, very slick side, in particular in the contest.
Yeah. Of the teams that have belted the D's in the back end of the year, they're the ones that scared me the most. They look the most lethal.
Yeah.
They really
McRae come on as a sub.
He did.
Did you ever think about
taking sub with sub? Unfortunately, our sub.
Oh, came on earlier.
No, it came on earlier and then got concussed.
Oh my god!
So that was the plan. Obviously, Bergman to go to McRae.
Yeah, McRae when he came on.
Good match up.
Like Dennis Armfield on
Berg, unfortunately, didn't see the game out.
It's exciting for the Dog. He's got Adam Treloar on the podcast actually in the coming weeks. Very excited about that.
He's a good conversationalist from all reports.
We roomed together on a footy camp a long time ago in South Africa, and our rooms got broken into and our digital cameras got stolen.
Someone stole your camera while you're in South Africa.
Basically, that reminds me of speaking to the hotel management. Yeah,
this is Dyl Buckley's camera. That's Joyce, man. That's great.
So did you go report it, and what did the people at the
We
hotel
did, and
say?
that was like the guy we spoke to.
he
Didn't give a fuck.
So it stole your camera. Right. You should be lucky. It could be worse. A lion could come in.
Yeah.
Eat your face.
Moving on, Hawthorn. Will Day, hope he's okay. They were the winners by 63 points against the Tigers. Tigers need to finish up the year, don't they? They're ready for a break.
You would feel horrible. Like if you're Uzo, you come in and Brendan goes, hey, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And Dusty's going. Yeah. And everyone else is going. Fuck you. Like, this is no. Like,
and Adam Uzo, if that was the conversation, would be like, I hear all that, but was that last bit really necessary?
Yeah. And then Horse comes in, he's like, what do you think they call me the Horse, Adam? And he goes,
what are you doing here?
Don't know, just want to can I learn some coaching off you? No, you tell me, what do you think they call me the Horse?
And then a lion comes in. No, they're poor old Tigers.
This should be a really good game next week, Hawks versus North.
No, it won't.
No, it will. Hawks v North. Clarko on his old team.
Oh, yeah, no, it will be.
That would be a good
Respectfully.
game.
Respectfully.
Hawks are good. Hopefully sending a love to Will Day. I saw there was no break in his collarbone.
Is that official?
Yeah, if you sent the scan, have you?
Oh, he sent me the scan.
Yeah, we see that. Did you send
I broke my wrist.
You're getting doctor DMs. Is that what's happening?
Yesterday I was actually when we were having a chat, we're getting our coffee across the road. I saw my doctor that I went to, and he called me on the way and goes, "No break, mate." But I do have some early signs of arthritis.
But wasn't it they put your wrist under the wrong way of the X-ray or something like that?
No, it was all good. It was all good. It was fine. Thanks for asking though. Do we skip this game?
No, I want to make a point of this.
Okay, go for it.
Hey, kudos to the Blues. Everyone leading this game was saying they couldn't. Oh yeah, we skipped the Hawks game.
Oh, I said this though.
You say a lot. We can't keep up. You said the horse thing a lot. But the Blues going into this game, it was like, they've lost all their players, can't win. But the reality is they've still got 27 or 28 fit and available AFL level athletes to go across with Patrick Cripps, and to be fair, not much outside of Patrick Cripps, Wiedering. So all their their big guys kind of absorbed this week pretty well, had that edge, went out, got the result. West Coast, on the other hand, Gaff's last game, Cripps' 250th, just did not fire a shot.
Did not fire a shot. I think they thought Carlton were going to roll over and just didn't fire up.
A real treat of the late Sunday game is if you're driving around, put on AFL Nation and listen to the West Coast commentators for this game, whether they're...
Tim Gossage, he calls it, and
just
Hazelby.
Going off. Just, this is disgrace. I was like, this is disgrace. They haven't showed up. And there's like, what game's happening? And it's unacceptable. It's like first quarter, they're down by like 7 points. Yeah. I had a gutful.
I heard, I was doing the same, I was driving home. And there was a comment from Tim Gossage, just like, Patrick Cripps gets a free kick. It's like, Patrick Cripps, oh, no, doesn't he get a good run with the umps?
No, I love the one I'd call. They're fantastic.
And he by himself in a room, like no other people calling the game.
Apart from when John Longmire popped in.
Why they call me?
Can I have a headset, please, Tim? Why do they call me
Why
horse?
do they call me horse? No, you tell me, Tim. Why do they call me horse? Cripper did what I said he'd do, by the way. He flicked it. He said, boys, jump on the back. He loves his West Coast man in terms of, back in the day.
He's from there.
He's from there.
Him and Cale Morton.
Yes.
Had a fair one up forward. Brody Camp, who they've played
mark, didn't he? Yeah.
Bits and pieces down back for most of his career. High-end draft pick.
4 goals, 1.
Kicks 4, goes forward, can jump, get a good run.
Carlton fans were horrified of this game, I know.
I feel like everyone had literally just come to the conclusion that they were going to lose.
Did you watch the Simone Biles documentary where she talks about that mental block that gymnasts have where they just at some point forget how to flip?
The twisties.
Yeah, twisties, and they just lose the plot. Mm-hmm. It felt like Carlton had twisties.
I was a bit more confident going into this week, to be honest, than most people. Maybe because I'm not as,
you played with Chris Judd. I saw that on Front Bar. They were interviewing Juddy, and then just Dill Buckley walks in to shot like old footage. And I was like,
I forget that myself sometimes.
Yeah, it's cool.
Pretty cool.
Did you wear the yellow jumper the day that... Remember
that was, I
yellow?
think, when I was about 13. Yeah.
Light blue. Did you ever wear the light blue?
No, I think that was 12 for that one.
Yeah. M&M. Which one was that?
Yeah.
Oh,
did you play for Preston Bull Ants?
I did play for the Preston Bull Ants. Yeah, I actually went to the VFL on the weekend.
Which
when
game?
I watched Port Melbourne versus Preston Bull Ants. Billy Gowers kicked 7 in his 100th, and he won the Frosty.
Yeah,
won
Frosty
the leading
Miller.
goal kicker. Yeah.
I similarly was doing a Les Mills dance class with 6-year-old women on Sunday morning. No joke.
How's that similar?
And I looked out the window and
horses
Coburg Lions were playing.
Oh.
So similarly, we have similar lifestyle.
That is good.
You and me do. We're both grassroots bastards.
Before we move on to our clanger segment, Andrew Gaff, just want to say, what a incredible player he's been. The last couple of years have been really hard for him. I think since a Brayshaw incident of the broken jaw, which, if you do know Gaffy, you know that is like the most non-sort of thing that he would ever do or mean to do.
Do you know him?
I do. I haven't spoken to him for a long time, but he's a ripping
Melbourne?
guy. He's from Melbourne. He went to Carey.
Diamond Creek or something?
No, he's a Q guy.
Right.
Yeah, Q Comets, Carey. I think he was pick 3 into to West Coast.
It's a high pick.
Yeah, very consistent player.
Top
but
3.
He's a star. He'll go down as one of them, but it just didn't really probably finish the way he wanted to. I wish he got to go. Didn't get to play in the 2018 grand final.
Yeah, there's a few of them, wasn't there? You forget that. He's played a lot of footy for them and was always a very consistent performer in that grand final.
A gun. When you play for West Coast, do they just give you Hungry Jacks?
Hungry Jacks and Toyotas, I think, is the thing you get.
Adam Simpson owns 3 Hungry Jacks.
Yeah. Like, you're obsessed with that. That's pretty smart, though.
Well, that's where the money is in. Is in the Hungry Jacks, in Perth.
I wouldn't even know where there is a Hungry Jacks in Melbourne. Hey,
I'll tell you right now where the closest one is. It's on Hoddle Street.
Let's go get one after this.
Are we with the other chain? On this
Don't bring
Amy.
Hungry Jacks here again. You can't eat Amy.
That's a clanger. Amy clanger.
Hey, Amy, clanger segment. I didn't actually give you any heads up on this at all, but have you got a clanger for us? What's your biggest clanger, just in life?
Biggest clanger in life. I mean, Melbourne in the past 10 days have pretty much clanged.
Yeah.
Clanged as hard as you can clang. They've clunged.
They do clung.
They're big clungers at the moment, but hopefully they can go and get that full comprehensive coverage and come back next year with a brand new... Because they've written off this season. And hopefully they come back. And
maybe this season's under warranty.
Yeah, but the guy who hit him, he's like, I don't know, I'm sure. Let's do a cashy. Oh, I'm not sure about that because my neck hurts. And You're a dodgy bus. And then
So
they
basically what you're saying
Can I tell you a
is,
story?
They're with Amy, they're going to be fine.
The Auntie Donna offices used to be in a place, and there was a panel beater across the road, and I went in and I got hit, just a little ding on the front thing, and then I went in and he's like, "I'll do it for you, mate." I was like, "All right." And then he came, he's like, "It's $800, but you know how I quoted you $1,500? Do you want me to put $1,500 on the thing?" And I was like, "No, just do normal." I was like, "Yeah, right, yeah, no." But that's my. Make sure you do insurance properly, guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I must agree. I agree with that. Boys, that's incredible. Hey, any clangers for you, Mick?
Can't
Can't top
do
that
the
one.
Melbourne thing.
No, you can't top that one.
I mean,
Respectfully.
North had a North. We're in a 10-car pile up yesterday in many respects. But they're building.
But no clangers on my end.
No, okay.
Monkey forgot the ruck bag. It's probably it.
Oh, no. Oh, God, Monkey. We'll talk about him next week. Hey, Broden, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, this is good. That's a good chat. Sorry for talking too much.
No, you were fantastic, mate. You were great. I'm sorry about me and the horse and the ball movement.
No,
stuff.
I thought it was really good. And I'm sorry that I didn't remember you. I'm sorry.
You're not the first. You're not the first, won't be the last.
Nice to meet you.
No,
Love it. Thanks so much, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and thanks again to our friends at AAMI. We love you. Make sure you check this episode out on YouTube or on podcasting. Like, subscribe, send to a friend, send to your mum, your dad, and we'll chat to you soon. Thanks for listening to another Clubby Sports podcast. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at Dyl Friends, on TikTok at Dyl Friends, and if you want to send something in for the show or chat to us on the minis, any bit of feedback, please email me at mailbag@dylanfriends.com. We'll chat to you soon. LXX. Thank you so much.